Today, we have the best heroes for every single budget. You heard that right. These are my choices. Expensive, value, and that discount shopping. We're talking cheap. Attackers. You got opinions? We have a comment section, but we're gonna lead off with the elephant in the room. And the best of the heroes, in my humble opinion, Ginola. Hands down. Reckless, long hair, technical and Travella, broken from a historic standpoint, just terrifying. Ginola, as it stands, a couple million coins, which doesn't seem that overpriced, even though he's expensive. Speaking of, in a similar mindset or aura, if you see Al Wyron, if you've experienced the Saudi winger or striker, just speed demon, it doesn't get much sweatier, doesn't get much more offensive. 5-star skills and potentially the fastest straight line. If he's just coming at you, once he turns a defender or gets loose into some space, you don't catch him. And he's not that expensive, all things considered. Maybe 700,000 coins, give or take. Rounding it out, the pit bull, Carlos Tevez, the most physical striker we have in the game. Well, potentially, it's up for debate. 5-star skills, got the 4-star weak foot, significant upgrades that were necessary, that were needed, that were mandatory to put him into more of an elite category. Explosiveness, and he's a tank. And he's been hovering around 1 million coins. I feel as if that will be dropping, reducing. I would not be surprised to see him in the 700 to 800,000 coin range very soon. We're doing the predictions with Mythical Mike again. Value section, getting the best bang for your buck. Butra has to be there. 90 overall, pure winger, a lot of enjoyment, quick feet. They always eat, and he's got that dribbling on point. The second Pele, 90 overall, we're talking about the Marvel, might be getting another upgrade. Couple 100,000 coins, not gonna eat into your pocketbooks. And he's quick-witted. He has a reputation, he's consistent, he's reliable, he will do the job. I tossed McManaman into this section, but the reality is when you're dealing with attackers, a lot of them are cheap or just affordable in general. They're attainable when you're talking about heroes. Might be a different story for an icon video, which we made on the YouTube channel. Would highly recommend you checking that out. If this has interest, that will also have interest. Cheap options and one of my favorites. I'm so happy that we get to discuss this individual. We have Berbatov making a resurgence. 5-star skills, he's got the larger body type, but the dribbling is fantastic. You're getting Travella and finesse shot on a playstyle plus, and he's gonna cost you 150,000 coins for a 93 overall that hasn't necessarily had the track record or the expression, but we wanted him to work, and now he can get to work. Nifty on the rock. Harry Cool, we're talking about the Aussie. Again, same price situation, 150,000 coins, double 5-star with the burner. He is smoking with no regards to his lungs. Does not care. Power shot and also rapid for playstyle pluses. I don't know why he's not being used in more teams. When he gets by me, I don't catch up. It wouldn't be right if we didn't have the second iteration or second coming. We could probably include a Ginola in all the categories at 175,000 coins. And again, he's going to even get more affordable. I never thought I would say that price point, matching it up with Ginola at any point throughout the FIFA ecosystem or the history of the game. You're still getting the double 5-star. Obviously, the stats have been reduced. He still has the technical for the playstyle plus. His moving and his grooving, and he's typical Ginola. You know what that functionality looks like. We all do. Midfielders, shall we? And it should always begin with the one-man midfield, Ramirez. Gonna cost you over 1 million coins, but with the current meta of the game, especially that focal point, that observation, I don't even think it's subjective. This guy is the ultimate chase back player, and I'm not praising it. I'm not saluting it, but I am promising you it will not be enjoyable to deal with Ramirez in the midfield with the current game. He is everywhere and will cause rage quits. Wesley Sneijder, now up to a 94 overall, of course with the double 5-star, and he's been on the up and up. New hero this year. Always had high rated items. This specific version, every individual stat with dribbling and passing is over a 90. And I like when you see that, not just for continuity or consistency, but almost a sense of definite. There's no question marks. You don't have to worry about fugazi or fraudulent activity. Big body, brawly in the middies. Yaya Toure, who has not been that expensive this year, and this is really no different. For his highest rated item, 91 overall, previous FIFA installments, he had quite the track record. This year, I don't want to say he's been out of rotation, but he hasn't been as meta or as required. He hasn't had the same level of priority when we're talking about midfielders in the game. And I don't necessarily believe Yaya's at fault. It's just the reality that we've had so many upgrades in this specific role that are similar that it allows people to have more choice. And with competition, price is not going to come in at a monopoly. Under 1 million coins for Yaya, and you can go ahead and knock that out. Big trusted. Value choices, and a few of these I love. Starting out with the return, the resurgence, and finally a version that we can not only use, but we can abuse. Park Ji-sun is back. I said this early on with his low rated items, saying he needs an upgrade. Once he gets it, the overall numbers are where they should be. Adding in the skills and the weak foot, I also packed him. There might be a little bit of a bias. At the moment, 400,000 coins, and you have a well-rounded midfielder with no debate. Marquisio has not had that upward trajectory, and the price tag matches. I didn't think we'd be talking about picking up the highest rated version of this player for a couple 100,000 coins. And if you're looking for an Italian to talk to everyone in the midfield, to organize and orchestrate, this could be your guy. He's definitely suitable and coming in at a more affordable option in the middies. And I didn't think it'd be right if we didn't include the 91 overall Wesley Sneijder. And I've been a little harsh on this item and said that it was overrated or he was not worth the price tag, but that's what's shifted. At one point, we were spending 5 times the amount. He was over 1 million coins. Now he's down to a couple 100K. Take your double 5-star. Let him sit a little deep. Hit him with the Aperol spritz, facilitation everywhere on the pitch. One of those deep-lying playmakers that can have those late-timed runs and impact what's happening, how it's happening, the leak-outs, the over-the-top passes. If you've played a lot of FC, this has become a more needed role. That's why we've seen an uptick with players like Xavi, Kimmich, and Pirlo, who weren't necessarily overpowered in previous installments, but now they're back into rotations because the game has shifted, it adjusted, and their skills transcended in a better manner. If the pockets are light, cheap, Kessler, grab her. You won't regret it. 50, 60,000 coins. Let me know your thoughts. She's not the biggest midfielder, but the numbers are right. They're not just newspaper joints. She goes back and forth, moves well, reminds me of a pro clubs player. Rosicky at a 92, and I know any of his previous iterations were disappointing. Underwhelming. You weren't happy, you weren't using, but at this price point, give the man an opportunity. The stats have adjusted. He's slotting in a little nicer. Let him showcase some of that passing and some of that precision. I just tossed in Ramirez. I know he's at 86, but he's also going to cost you 25, 30,000 coins. As cheap as it comes, and he's still fast enough. He's still in good enough shape, and he still fits into that chase back meta. That one midfielder grab and go. Don't overthink it. He can still be a problem in that regard. Might not be the same complete player, especially going forward, but when you're looking defensive midfielder that will last you a full game if needed, he could do the job. Also a spoiler, lowest rated player in the entire video. Defenders! And it has to start out when you're talking expensive, Vincent Kompany. Big body type, wide shoulders, crazy V-taper. You know, I know, we know. He's consistent. You realize what you're getting. There's no surprises here. And next to him has to be the likes of his partner in crime. Sometimes you see them together. Actually, it happens quite often, and it's a personal preference, but Lucio, the Brazilian, you got that mesh up. They're very similar body types, and the way that they defend, the positioning, the leadership qualities, even the track record. And I talk so much about previous iterations and game titles and releases, but it matters. If you've been solid in every installment, that's a good signal. That's success. The same can be said with different iterations of the same player. If you liked each version, it's likely as they upgrade, that will be a continued theme. These are brothers in arms. Both gonna cost you, as we're recording, 1.5, give or take. Maybe some extra helpers. Spend the change. I've got Bompastor, 93 overall, not really that expensive. As we're recording, 590,000 coins. She's been remarkable. I love this item. 90 plus in everything in the dribbling department. The same with the pace, and you might as well apply that logic to passing. I think she has an 87 for the long pass, but every other individual statistic is a 90 plus, and she moves so well. Responsiveness, quick turning, can facilitate, switch the pitch, give you offensive awareness, has the whipped pass on a playstyle plus, which means that crossing, beautiful. And then relentless, never tired. Chase back game, fantastic. And for fullbacks in particular, you can't deal with them if they're running out of gas. There's no refuel unless you got that relentless play style. Value choices, and we start with Bicente, and this is the reality. I'm not trying to be negative in any way. You're saving some coins, but if you can afford Bomb Pastor, just go with Bomb Pastor. Bicente's good, maybe even great, just not that next level. That's how I feel in my heart. Cordoba, gonna cost you 300 and some change. 90 for pace. That's not a typo. Then has the defending numbers, has the physical numbers. He's 5'8", which has always been a bit of a caveat or a disclaimer, and it's kept me away from giving out happy reviews around Cordoba. This is the crossover. This is the shift in that direction. It does depend how you defend, and I would also make sure to pair him with a large center back in order to offset. So you almost have a bit more of a maestro, someone with a lot of agility. And if anything, if you're looking for a one-to-one comparison that you may have used, if you have Cannavaro, the 91 overall, I can make an argument that this Cordoba is even a little bit better. But that's the realm of player comparison. Money Marquez, and I believe the only SBC player that we've included today. And at 270, 280,000 coins from an SBC perspective, the value is spot on. I have him in my starting 11, been enjoying his usage rate, his output, facilitates and turns well for a center back, but still has enough pace to get back, and the physical nature is right. The defending numbers are right. Everything is authentic. You're getting a lot for a 90 overall, and I'm sure Mexicans worldwide are very proud of this reinsertion, reiteration, and the dominance that Marquez has given you on the virtual pitch. I think we all can agree, fodder well spent. Cheap selections has to start out with this Jurgen. Did not see this coming. You didn't either. Got the biggest upgrade potentially of the year. And I'm not talking about just his rating, but the actual performance. We had the input. Now he's got the output. Everything lines up. Gonna cost you a couple 100,000 coins. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if that price even gets lower or it's reduced. His name doesn't carry the same level of hype. So over time, I'm not sure that people are gonna be constantly buying him up. He won't be a marketplace aficionado, but he is a stat room stuffer. Vincent Company, and you get the Marvel upgrade, which I personally always prefer an upgrade when possible. Gonna cost you 150K. You already know what he's all about. There's no surprises. I like that level of transparency, especially when it comes down to defenders. I don't want mistakes. I want to know that you're gonna be there on time. No issues with punctuality. Your positioning is on point. You came with the package that I invested in. And it just wouldn't be a Dirty Mike video if we don't have a special shout out to this version of Bomb Pastor in particular. She's done so much for the club. Mediocre Clout FC appreciates you. Now down to 60 or 70,000 coins due to her upgrades. She's still able to do the job down the wings. We've already discussed her superlatives, and they don't necessarily shift even with the 89 overall. If you have not given her an opportunity this year, this season, you should change that. You will not regret it. You will not be disappointed. Those are my selections. I look forward to all of your thoughts. If you haven't subscribed, double check. Make sure that you're subbed up. Plenty of you watching, see the videos, but you haven't hit the button, and it would be highly appreciated. Keep the channel moving in the right direction. And as always, we have a lot more content coming out ASAP.